Welcome to Medical Sales Live, the #1 resource for breaking into medical sales and building your career.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Akers. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Medical Sales College. We've got a very special guest today, Mr. Sam Conaway. Sam is the President and GM of Boston Scientific Cardiology, and he also has a very special role in Chairman of Close the Gap, which is a program that Boston has had to really help those that are in need of healthcare disparities, that getting the care that they deserve. And who will expand more on this as we go into our discussion today. But it's fantastic to have Sam in the studio, bud. It's great to see you, too. It's been a while, man.
Thank you, John.
It's been a while.
Thank
Sam
you.
and I've got a relationship that goes back many moons, and spent many years working for Sam. He is an incredible leader. Sam, you've got a storied career in the medical device space. I'd love for you just to share with our audience a little bit about what that looked like, where it started, and how you got to where you are today. I know that's a longer conversation, but I think there's some real high points to share with the group.
Yeah, John, I'll make it brief. I am blessed to be in medical device sales. I think it's been one of the best things that ever happened to me as an individual. And really, I had no idea that I wanted to be a medical device sales rep. And like many people probably listening to this podcast, this is not something that people know about. I mean, it's not widely known. And that's the beautiful thing I love about what you're doing at the Medical Sales College is you're making it a access for people to get into this space, which is fantastic. But I actually started out in the laundry of the hospital and actually had an opportunity to go up to the cardiac cath lab where they were doing these wonderful procedures and got an opportunity to be a cardiovascular technologist working with the physicians doing these procedures and saying to myself, wow, this is amazing. During that time, the space was being developed. All of these entrepreneurs, inventors were really bringing new therapies to market. And as an example, when you had coronary artery disease many years ago in the 80s, you would get bypass surgery. And now you don't get bypass surgery. You get minimally invasive techniques, not only on your coronaries, but also your heart valves, which are just major, major innovations in the space. And so I had the opportunity to meet a physician by the name of Dr. John Simpson. He actually thought I was a fellow working in the hospital and asked me if I wanted to join him in his new company. And I got a chance to do that and bring new therapy to market called directional atherectomy, which was that next generation, the way you did coronary angioplasty. And so it was just an amazing field. And then I went into pacing, and then I went into heart valves, and then I went into all these different roles in the medical device space. And that's the one thing that I will say about the medical device space. You will never get bored, and the opportunities are huge, and there are a lot of opportunities to grow.
Well, you've certainly grown, starting in the laundry back in the day to where you are today as the president of Boston Scientific Cardiology. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Boston and where it is today, the culture you've created, and why it's such a great place to start and build your career?
Yeah, you know, Boston Scientific, I think, like many of the medical device companies, it's just a unique place to be because it really is a place where you can really impact patients' lives. And I think when I say that, I say it with a heavy heart because everything we do is around patient outcomes, making sure that we're supporting our physicians in a way where we're getting great, great, great outcomes for patients. And because of that, you have to learn the craft very well, not only the selling skills part of it, but the medical device aptitude, anatomy and physiology, learning how each device works, but being able to really coach the physician on how to place devices in different places in the heart. And you may think, wow, the physician should be trained to do that, but every device has nuances, okay? Every device is different. And so what's really special about being at Boston Scientific, we help patients.
This medical sales is just not something that everyone even knows about.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so where we've explored this thought of when people come to you and ask you, how do we break into the industry? Let's flip this around. When you see someone who has been really talented and shown that aptitude, but you've come to them and said, hey, do you have an interest in this? What are the obstacles that someone faces actually getting into the industry? Okay.
I think the first thing that traditional managers, ask is, do you have experience in this? And I would say that that's an interesting question to ask, but I would ask people, tell me about your ability to learn new things. Tell me about your ability to take on new projects and get things done. When you do something, do you finish it? Or do you let things get in your way or obstacles get in your way? And so I think the medical sales technical piece of things, we can teach anyone that, But if you have the work ethic, you have the drive, you have that personality, you're capable of getting things done, you understand what starting and finishing looks like, then you can do this.
Sam, you said something that just jumped off the page to me, and that was just this comment around learning new things or what is that capability that you have? I've just watched you over the years consistently reinvent yourself, reinvent your teams, reinvent your companies in all of that. And I think we're on the cusp of doing that right now at the Medical Sales College. And when you think about the partnership that we are embarking on, we've got some scholarships for DE&I candidates and applicants. But what was it about the college that you decided, hey, Boston needs to be a part of this? And certainly we chose that we'd love to be a part of Boston Scientific as well. Yeah. What was the attraction for you?
Yeah, it's a goal of, I think, every company now to have a strategy around diversity, inclusion, because our world is diverse. When you go into the hospital, physicians are from Indian descent, African American descent, Asian descent, all over the world, right? And in order to, I think, set your company up to be attractive and set your company up to be explosive with growth, you need to mirror your customers, And so one of the things that got me very excited about the D&I scholarship was that we can get in now some folks who maybe not have the opportunity to do this because they don't have the funding, for instance, or they don't have maybe the support. Some of the folks that may get this opportunity are already working. They already have families, right? And they can't just stop working to take on this kind of opportunity. So this scholarship, this partnership with the Medical Sales College, in my mind, is going to allow us to get more people into the space and also more diverse people, which is very exciting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're really excited about that as well. And just in this spirit of boldness, I have to ask the question that, again, from a clinical perspective, the Medical Sales College, our clinical curriculum is focused on orthopedics. Yep. And I believe that you are the president of cardiology. And so why, again, tell me what your thoughts are on that. Does that make a big difference to you?
It doesn't, John. And so when I look at the Medical Sales College, just because you have an orthopedic curriculum, what I want to know is, do you have the ability to learn? You can give me students that have graduated from a program that have demonstrated they have the aptitude, the competence, and the willingness to get through this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about what the Medical Sales College does for the graduate. You and I have talked a little bit about what it offers a hiring manager, right? So your team of RMs, of AVPs, and the likes, when they're looking for talent on ZeroFee Recruiting, I'd love for you to give your feedback on that tool and the possibilities that it has within your organization.
Yeah. The worst thing is to get on a call and you have 70 jobs open. And I will tell you that the thing that keeps me up at night, if you ask me that question, the field of cardiology is growing and exploding so much. The human capital piece, I think, is where we're going to have the biggest challenge. And so I want to know, are there tools, can we attack this differently to make sure that we fill all the jobs that we have. And for Boston Scientific, we have multiple divisions that are just growing. And I believe over the next really several years, we're going to need hundreds of people to come in. But guess what? After you come through the medical sales college, which I love, is that you have that demonstrated competence. And I'm not just hiring you off the street where you have no experience in the medical device space. And so this recruiting tool that I've saw through the medical sales college and through you, it's a great tool to actually go in and identify candidates in different geographies where you're looking for jobs. You get to see them interview, tell us about themselves in an interview format, and I can't think of a better way. And also, you all rate them to let us know who's really good at this. It's a great tool for hiring managers. So the toughest thing for hiring managers is to spend time recruiting like you should. You should spend 2 to 3 days a week recruiting. People like myself, I'm always recruiting talent.
That's the truth.
Yes. So
that is the truth. So Sam, when someone comes to you and they are considering or thinking about attending the medical sales college and a career in medical sales, what counsel or advice do you have for them?
You know, John, a lot of people have obviously come to me to talk about that, and I will tell you that I've referred many friends, family members, many of my friends who already have a career that really want to change careers, and they're wondering how do they get in. As a matter of fact, I had a friend of mine who has a career going in the hospital administration, and they want to move into the medical sales environment, and they deal with medical sales people every day. And I said, hey, you should go to the medical sales college, because the one thing that I think people need to understand, selling is an art. It's a skill set that you have to work on, you have to develop, you have to work on it all the time. And I talk about this thing called conscious competence. A lot of people are unconsciously competent at what they do. In other words, they don't know why they're successful. But when you really nail it in the medical sales arena or in sales period, you're consciously competent. Everything you do is on purpose. You cannot show up as a medical device rep 80% ready. You have to show up 100% ready, right? Because if you tell a physician to do something and they do it wrong, you can hurt a patient. And that's life or death.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sam, any parting thoughts or counsel that you'd like to offer the audience with your experience in the business?
Yeah, I think, John, as we close, you should get excited about this space. I think it's a differentiated work environment, very rewarding. Again, there's nothing like taking care of people and seeing that immediate result. A lot of things that we do, patients come in very sick. We put one of our devices in them and they're fixed. So it's immediate gratification in a way. And if you're considering this, just be ready to work hard and go through the grind. But if you make it on the other side, which I'm confident that a lot of folks will do, it's just a very rewarding career, both personally, professionally, and you do quite well financially as well. So.
Absolutely. Sam, I'm going to just close with this thought as well, because I spent 25 years in the cardiology space in medical devices, and almost all of those were somehow connected to you one way or another. And it was during that time where I too put the patient first and foremost, right? And as I transitioned into the medical sales college back in April of this year, it's interesting how that's changed, because we will always train for the patient to be first. But the blessing that I have is now being able to put that student first, being able to put that career first, because I feel like to now be able to give this back and to be able to help those who are really on the dawn of their careers and launch them into a medical sales opportunity like we've enjoyed is so special. And for all involved, from that individual to the companies they work for, to the customers they serve, and ultimately to the patient for which they ultimately answer to. And it's very rewarding. We are so glad to have you in the studio today.
Thank you, man.
Thanks. It's great to see you, my man. Best of luck at Boston Scientific.
Thanks for tuning in to Medical Sales Live. Remember to like and subscribe to this channel for the latest in all things medical sales.